Look at this map of the world. Every dot, every line, every border was drawn by human hands. Human creativity shaped every city, every bridge, every piece of art you have ever seen. But now, something is changing. In 2022, an artwork generated by an AI won first place at the Colorado State Fair's Fine Arts competition. The artist who submitted it didn't paint a single brushstroke. He typed a prompt. And the judges had no idea. That single moment sent shockwaves through the creative world, because it forces us to ask a question that feels almost uncomfortable. Can a machine, something without consciousness, without emotion, without a life, truly innovate? Or is it just a master of mimicry, a clever parrot that rearranges our own ideas back at us? We marvel at what these systems produce. We share their images, we read their text, we listen to their music. But underneath that wonder, there is a nagging doubt, a suspicion that maybe, just maybe, real creativity requires something more, something we are not sure we can define. And that is exactly what we are going to explore today. To understand whether a machine can innovate, we first need to understand what human creativity actually looks like. Not the abstract, romanticized version, the real, messy human version. Consider Thomas Edison and the light bulb. We tell the story as a single flash of genius. But Edison didn't invent the concept of electric light. Dozens of people before him had built working bulbs. What Edison did was something more subtle. He tested over 6,000 different materials for the filament. Bamboo fibers, cotton threads, platinum wire. He failed over and over for more than a year. And here is the thing. Every failure taught him something. He carried the memory of each burnt-out filament. He felt the frustration, the exhaustion, the stubborn hope, that lived experience, that emotional weight, that relentless intention. That was the engine of his innovation. Now compare that to how an AI creates. An AI does not have a bad day. It does not feel the sting of a failed experiment. It does not wake up at 3 a.m. with a half-formed idea that refuses to leave. An AI works on pattern recognition and data synthesis. Give it 1 million photographs of light bulbs, and it can generate a new image of a light bulb that looks plausible. Give it 1,000 patent filings, and it can produce a document that looks like a patent. But here is the critical difference. Edison was trying to solve a problem he cared about. He was trying to bring light into people's homes. The AI is trying to satisfy a statistical probability. It is trying to produce the output most likely to match what it has seen before. Think of it this way. A chef following a recipe is doing something useful. They produce a good meal. But a chef who invents a new dish, who tastes the broth, who adjusts the seasoning, who pushes the flavors towards something unexpected, that is where creativity begins to transform into invention. Thinks, this needs something brighter, and adds a pinch of sumac they have never used before. That is innovation. That requires intention, taste, and a willingness to break the rules. An AI, by contrast, is a chef who has memorized every recipe in the world. It can combine ingredients in ways no one has tried, but it cannot taste the soup. It does not know if the result is delicious or disgusting. It just knows that, statistically, this combination of ingredients has a high probability of being called good by humans. This brings us to a crucial distinction: novelty versus innovation. Novelty is easy. An AI can generate an infinite number of images no human has ever seen. It can write poems in the style of Shakespeare about quantum physics. That is novel. But innovation requires something more. Innovation requires breaking an existing pattern, not just rearranging it. It requires understanding why the pattern exists in the first place, and then deciding consciously to defy it. Here is where it gets interesting. In 2023, a team of researchers showed an AI system a set of abstract shapes and asked it to create something new. The AI generated shapes that did not resemble anything in its training data. That sounds like innovation, but when the researchers probed deeper, They found the AI was simply extrapolating from the edges of its dataset. It was not inventing a new category of shape. It was finding the most extreme possible version of shapes it already knew. Real human innovation often does something different. It creates a new category entirely. Think of the invention of perspective in Renaissance painting. Before Brunelleschi, artists drew flat symbolic scenes. Then one person realized you could create the illusion of depth using a vanishing point. That was not a rearrangement of existing techniques. It was a fundamental shift in how people saw the world. The AI, for all its power, has never had that kind of insight. It has never looked at a problem and thought, what if we start from a completely different assumption? So where does that leave us? The AI can produce remarkable things. It can mimic creativity so convincingly that it fools experts. But mimicry is not the same as innovation, and understanding that difference is the first step to understanding what AI truly can and cannot do. Because the real question is not whether AI can make art. The real question is whether it can make meaning, and that, as we will see, is a much harder problem to solve. Now here is where the story gets even more interesting, because there have been moments, real, documented moments, where AI produced something that genuinely surprised its own creators, and those moments force us to look at this whole question from a different angle. Take the case of AlphaGo, the AI that mastered the ancient board game Go. In 2016, during a match against the world champion Lee Sedol, AlphaGo made a move that stunned everyone watching, Move 37. It placed a stone on a position that no human player in the history of the game had ever considered. The commentators called it a mistake. They thought the AI had malfunctioned, but it didn't. That move turned out to be brilliant. It shifted the entire trajectory of the game and led AlphaGo to victory. Think about that for a moment. A machine, trained on thousands of human games, chose a path that no human had ever seen. It broke the established pattern. It defied conventional wisdom. If a human player had made that move, we would call it genius. We would say they had a flash of insight. So why do we hesitate to call it innovation when a machine does it? Here is the key difference. AlphaGo did not know it was being creative. It did not feel the thrill of discovery. It did not think, I am going to try something audacious. It simply calculated probabilities. Move 37 was the result of its neural network evaluating millions of possible future board states and finding that, statistically, this unlikely placement gave the highest chance of winning. The AI was not innovating, it was optimizing, and this is where the human element becomes unavoidable. Because innovation is not just about the output, it is about the intention behind it. When Beethoven wrote his Fifth Symphony, he was not trying to optimize a mathematical function. He was trying to express something. The famous four-note opening, da 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 dum, was not the statistically most likely sequence of notes. It was a choice driven by emotion, by experience, by a desire to communicate something profound about struggle and triumph. Now consider what happens when we use AI as a creative tool. A musician sits down with an AI system that can generate chord progressions. They type in a mood, melancholic but hopeful, and the AI produces a sequence of chords. The musician listens. Something feels off. The third chord is too bright. They adjust the prompt. The AI generates a new version. This one works. The musician takes that progression, adds a melody, changes the rhythm, and writes a song. Who created that song? The AI generated the raw material, but the human made the choices. The human decided what felt right. The human brought intention, taste, and emotional judgment to the process. The AI was a collaborator, but it was never the creator. It was a tool, like a paintbrush or a guitar. Except this paintbrush can suggest colors you have never tried. This guitar can play chords you never learned. And this is the nuance that gets lost in the hype. AI can be a phenomenal source of inspiration. It can show us possibilities we would never have considered on our own. It can break us out of creative ruts by presenting combinations that seem strange at first, but turn out to be brilliant. In that sense, AI is not replacing creativity, it is amplifying it. But here is the catch. The AI can only suggest what is statistically probable based on its training data. It cannot suggest something that has never existed in any form. It cannot invent a new artistic movement. It cannot create a new genre of music that has no precedent. It can remix, recombine, and extrapolate, but it cannot leap. Think about the invention of jazz. In the early 20th century, musicians in New Orleans took existing musical forms, blues, ragtime, marching band music, and did something radical. They started improvising. They broke the rules of harmony. They made mistakes on purpose and called them art. That was not a statistical recombination. That was a cultural shift, a rebellion, a conscious decision to create something new. An AI could never have invented jazz, because jazz was not born from data. It was born from a specific time, a specific place, and a specific human experience. It was born from oppression and resilience and joy and pain. Those things cannot be captured in a training set. They can only be lived. So where does that leave us with AI and creativity? The machine can produce output that looks and sounds like innovation. It can generate images that win art competitions. It can make moves that stun world champions. But it does so without understanding, without intention, without the messy, beautiful, irrational human experience that gives creativity its meaning. And that is not a limitation we should mourn. It is a distinction we should celebrate. Because it means that human creativity, your creativity, still matters. It is not about who can generate the most content. It is about who can make carry meaning, no matter how advanced AI becomes, is something only we can do. And this is the kind of question that deserves more than a surface-level answer. It deserves the kind of deep, thoughtful exploration that we try to bring to every topic on this channel. If you want to join us on that journey, to understand the real implications of technology, not just the headlines, then hit that subscribe button for future frontiers. We will be right here, digging into the big questions, one video at a time. Now let us zoom out across the map of human history and look at a different kind of creative act, one that has nothing to do with art or music. Consider the invention of the number zero. For centuries, mathematicians in ancient Greece and Rome operated without it. They had no symbol for nothing, and that limited what they could do. Then in 5th century India, a mathematician named Brahmagupta took a radical step. He defined zero as a number. He gave it rules. You could add it, subtract it, multiply by it. That single conceptual leap unlocked algebra, calculus, and eventually the entire digital world we live in today. Now imagine asking an AI to invent zero. The AI would look at all the mathematical texts it had been trained on. It would see that no number like zero existed. It would calculate that the probability of a valid number with no value was vanishingly small. And it would conclude that zero was a mistake. Because the AI does not think in terms of gaps. It thinks in terms of patterns. It fills in the spaces between what already exists. But it cannot see the empty space itself. It cannot look at a system and say, there is a fundamental piece missing here, and I am going to create it. This is the philosophical heart of the matter. Innovation requires what philosophers call intentionality, the ability to direct your mind towards something, to have beliefs and desires about it, to act with purpose. A child drawing a picture of their family is not just arranging lines on paper. They are expressing love, memory, and identity. The lines mean something to them. When an AI generates an image of a family, it has no concept of family. It has no memory of a warm kitchen or a laughing sibling. It is producing pixels that match a statistical pattern. The image might look identical to the child's drawing, but the meaning behind it is completely different. And this is where the concept of emergence comes in. Emergence is the idea that complex systems can produce behaviors that none of their individual parts possess. A single ant cannot build a colony, but 1,000 ants working together can. The question is whether creativity can emerge from the complex system of an AI's neural network. Can a machine, with no consciousness and no intention, produce something that is genuinely new, not just in appearance, but in kind? There is a powerful example from the world of biology. In 2018, researchers at MIT programmed a simple AI to design a new type of robot. They gave it a set of basic building blocks and a goal: create a machine that can move across a flat surface. The AI generated hundreds of designs. Most were useless. But one design was strange. It had a curved, spring-like structure that no human engineer would have thought of. When the researchers built it, it worked. It moved faster and more efficiently than any human-designed robot of its size. That feels like innovation. The AI created something that did not exist before. It solved a problem in a novel way. But here is the catch. The AI did not know what it was doing. It was running an evolutionary algorithm, a process of random mutation and selection, mimicking natural evolution. It wasn't thinking, I need a spring-like structure to absorb impact and transfer energy. It was simply generating variations and keeping the ones that scored highest on a test. The creativity was in the process, not in the machine. The innovation was an accident of computation. So when we ask whether AI can innovate, we are really asking two separate questions. First, can AI produce outputs that are novel and useful? The answer is clearly yes. We have seen it happen. But the second question is harder. Can AI produce those outputs with understanding, with intention, with meaning? And the answer to that, so far, is no. The machine does not know it is creating. It does not care about the result. It has no stake in the outcome. And this is where the distinction becomes not just academic, but practical. Because if we treat AI as an innovator, we risk missing the very thing that makes innovation valuable. We risk valuing output over intention. We risk celebrating the product while ignoring the process. And that is a dangerous path. Because a world that only values what is produced, not why it was produced, is a world that loses sight of what it means to be human. But there is another possibility. What if we stop asking whether AI can innovate on its own and start asking how it can help us innovate better? What is the real power of AI is not in replacing human creativity, but in expanding it. What if the machine is not the artist, but the catalyst, the thing that shows us possibilities we never saw, and then steps back to let us choose? This is already happening in fields you would not expect. Take architecture. Firms like Zaha Hadid Architects are using generative design software, essentially AI, to explore structural forms that no human would ever sketch. The AI takes the constraints, the site dimensions, the materials available, the load-bearing requirements, the budget. Then it generates thousands of possible shapes. Some look like twisted seashells. Others look like something from a sci-fi film. The architects choose the ones that feel right, refine them, add their own vision. The result is a building that could not have been designed by a human alone, but also could not have been built without human judgment. Now consider music. In 2020, the musician Holly Herndon released an album called Proto. She did not write all the music herself. She trained an AI on her own voice, on years of her vocal performances. Then she sang with it. The AI responded in real time, harmonizing, improvising, suggesting new melodic lines. Herndon described the process as a duet with a version of herself that did not exist. The AI was not the composer. It was a creative partner that pushed her in directions she would not have gone on her own. The result was music that sounded unmistakably human, but also unmistakably new. And this is the real story. Not AI replacing the artist, but AI becoming a mirror that reflects back our own creative potential in strange and unexpected ways. Think of it like this. A painter stares at a blank canvas. They have an idea, but it is fuzzy, half-formed. They make a mark. That mark changes what they see. It suggests the next mark. The canvas talks back. That dialogue between intention and accident, between vision and material, is the engine of human creativity. AI can now be part of that dialogue. It can make marks we never would. It can show us accidents that turn out to be breakthroughs. But here is the critical point. The AI does not know it is having a dialogue. It does not feel the surprise of a happy accident. It is a system that produces outputs. The meaning, the interpretation, the selection, that is still on us. And that is not a weakness, it is a strength. Because it means the human role in creativity is not diminished, it is elevated. The composer becomes a conductor of chance. The designer becomes a guide through an infinite landscape of options. Now let me give you a concrete example from the world of writing. There is a novelist named Robin Sloan who experimented with AI to help write a short story. He fed the AI a prompt about a librarian in a strange library. The AI generated pages of text. Most of it was nonsense. But buried in that nonsense were fragments that surprised him. A phrase he would never have written. A character detail he would never have imagined. He took those fragments, rewrote them, wove them into his own narrative. The final story was his, but it contained echoes of a creative process that involved a machine. Sloan described the experience as like having an unhinged, endlessly energetic writing partner who never sleeps and never runs out of ideas. But that partner has no taste. It cannot tell a good idea from a bad one. That is where the human comes in.
The human does the filtering.
The human brings the judgment. The human decides what matters. And this is where the fear starts to dissolve. Because if you are a creator, a writer, a musician, a designer, a filmmaker, the AI is not coming for your job. It is coming to hand you a tool that can amplify your imagination. The question is whether you are willing to use it. Whether you are willing to let go of the romantic idea that creativity must be a solitary, purely human act. Whether you can accept that inspiration can come from a machine, even if the machine does not understand what it is giving you.
Think about the history of creative tools.
The camera did not kill painting, it freed painting. Once photographers could capture reality, painters were no longer bound to represent it. They could explore abstraction, emotion, and the inner world. The synthesizer did not kill music. It created entirely new genres. Electronic music, hip-hop, techno, none of those exist without the tool. AI is the next camera, the next synthesizer. It is a tool that changes what is possible. But it requires something from us. It requires us to stay in the driver's seat, to keep asking the hard questions, to keep bringing our own intention, our own taste, our own meaning to the process. Because the AI can generate 1,000 images of a sunset, but it cannot tell you which one captures the feeling of a specific evening you remember. It cannot know why that particular shade of orange reminds you of your grandmother's kitchen. That knowledge, that memory, that meaning, that is yours. And it always will be. So the next time you see an AI-generated painting or hear a song composed by a machine, do not ask whether it is creative. Ask whether it means something. Ask whether someone chose it on purpose, shaped it with intention, gave it a reason to exist. Because that is where the line is drawn. And it is a line that matters. If you want to keep exploring these questions, the real ones that do not fit into headlines, then you are in the right place. Hit that subscribe button for future frontiers. We will be right here, diving into the big ideas, one video at a time.